96 until it's all over.
I spent my whole life dreaming, now I'm living the dream. I guess you could say mission complete. Now I wanna see how far I can take it. That's why new goals have populated my beach.
Hello, and welcome to 96Indie, where we provide DIY tips for music makers and content creators. I am your host, Joe Rodriguez, and first up, we have a little review of this device that I'm using right now, which is called the Shure MV88. The Shure MV88 is a stereo condenser microphone that works with your iOS devices. Now it connects straight to your lightning port, and it basically helps you step up the audio quality for your microphone. Because while the iOS microphones are pretty good, it doesn't hurt to step it up if you're serious about your content creation. So before we get deep into the details, let's get a look at the basic specs. All right, so here we go. Basic specs for the Shure MV88. I want to look at a few things that are of interest to me when I look at a spec sheet. Right now I'm looking at the DSP mode / presets. You got your speech, you got your singing, you got your acoustic, you got your loud, you got your flat. So you have options and presets to get you up and going, which is always good. Also, you have different polar pattern selections. You can do stereo with adjustable width. You can do your mono bidirectional, mono cardioid, and mid-side. You can record up to 24-bit, 48K, which is always a plus. And your frequency response is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, which is pretty much your human range of hearing. You can adjust the gain from 0 to plus 36 dB. So you got some gain to work with within that range. And what else we got? Max SPL, 120 dB SPL is, the max that you can go. And that's your ceiling essentially for the SPL that it can handle. You have a few other options, which are your limiter, which is nice to have. You have your compressor, and you have your 5-band EQ. So, you have some freedom to mess with the audio settings and pretty much make it sound how you want it to sound. As we talked about, it connects to the lightning connector, and that is actually how it receives its power. Usually when you have a condenser microphone, you have to worry about phantom power and all that stuff. Not so much in this case. And that about rounds out the specs that I want to take a look at. Obviously, you can take a look at them further yourself if you would like. All right, so now let's get into how you actually utilize the microphone. We are in the Shure MV88 app, and this is pretty much your setup page where you can set the mic settings as you would like. Now here you have your gain slider, and it's acting like it doesn't want to adjust, and perhaps that's because I am in the process of recording right now. Let me flip back and see if it actually changed. No, it looks like it's still at 30 dB. But if you're not in the process of recording, then you can move that slider and set your gain levels prior to recording. Up next, you have your headphone monitoring option, and basically, since you connect to your lightning port, you might have trouble actually using headphones, with the headphone port if you don't have it. If you have like an older phone, you might be good to go. But if you have a newer phone where it just has the lightning connector, no headphone port, then you might have some trouble. I suppose there could be a workaround, maybe if you have some true wireless headphones, but I do not. So I literally just set my levels by my eyes, check out the meter, and then I'll do a test recording. I'll play it back and make sure it sounds as I wanted it to sound. Next up, we have your settings. You see all those little bubbles with the different icons. To your left, you have your speech bubble, and that's basically, a speech preset if you're just talking. Next up is another speech bubble, but that one has a music note, and that one is basically for singing, singing words instead of just speaking words. Next up, you have what I'm actually using, which is the flat setting. I like to use the flat setting because I like to do my processing in post. So I'll make a raw recording and do whatever I want to do in post, and I'll be good to go. Now, next up, you have your acoustic guitar. That's for, if you're playing acoustic music. Maybe you actually have an acoustic guitar and you want to kind of record a performance with that and sing along with it, then that might be a good preset for you. And last but not least, you have the little speaker icon, and that's basically for, you know, loud environments where you might be at a concert or something like that and you're trying to capture that audio with the Shure MV88. Next up we have our polar patterns. If it'll scroll down, having a little bit of trouble with that. Let's see if I can flip it. Okay, so I had to flip it real quick just to see what was going on here. But basically you have your polar patterns. You can switch between polar patterns, and basically you can switch to stereo, and you know, you can actually change your stereo width. So you could do from 60 degrees to 135 degrees. Definitely a nice option. I like to do mono a lot of the times because I record a lot of vocals like I'm doing right now. And, you know, mono is the setting that I'm keeping it in for most of this review. Also, you have mono bidirectional, so that's kind of like if you want to talk on one side of the microphone and you want to have another person talk on the other side of the microphone. So that might be like a two-person interview type of scenario. And then you have your mid side right here, which, you know, will have different lobes, different pickup patterns, you know, if that's something that you're interested in. Like I said, a lot of the times I use monocardioid and I'm good with that. Also, you have a limiter here, which I actually have instantiated. You know, I feel like a lot of times limiters are kind of hit or miss, you know, when they're digital, but at the same time, you know, if you just want to have some type of fail safe and hopefully it'll catch your peaks and keep you from clipping and or distorting, then, you know, it's a good option to have just as something that might help you out in a pinch. You also have an option for your compressor, which you can do off, and then you can do light or you can do heavy. So that pretty much allows you to control the dynamics of your vocal. Again, I have it off in this case because I want more of a dry vocal as much as possible. I don't have wind reduction on at the moment because, you know, I don't really need it. I'm not outside. And my EQ is flat at the moment, again, because I am basically trying to keep it as raw as possible and post-process this vocal. And yeah, the Shure MV88 audio app is free, as well as the video app, which we're going to get into next. Alright, so here we are checking out the Motiv video app. So we're just going to go through a few basic things. As you can see on the left, you have your level meters jumping up and down as I speak. And then under that, it's a little hard to see because it's against the white, but you have your gain level. It's showing you your gain level, which is at 30 dB. And below that, you have your zoom level, which is also a little bit hard to see at the moment because it's against white, but it's at a 2x zoom level at the moment. If you look to your top middle of the screen, then you have your label for the microphone, so it's showing you that you're using the Shure MV88. If you weren't using that, if you had no mic, it would be showing like built-in microphone. Below that, you have your record time. And then if you start to look over to your right, your top right, which this is going to be a little bit easier to see because it has the little black, you know, fade out kind of thing going on. But anyway, if you look in your top right, you see your audio settings, which is right now we're set to wave, and it's 24-bit 48K. I know you don't see the 24-bit at the moment, but that's what I set it to in the Motiv audio app, and the settings have retained. If you look under that, you have your video settings, which we have 1080p at the moment, and 60 frames per second is what I have it set to at the moment. Below that is basically you have a few little options. It sets up your little rule of third grid if you want to do that. Or another option is to use the level in the iPhone to make sure that your shot is level. Now if we're moving up to the top right, you'll see the little, it almost looks like a retweet symbol, but really what that is that's to choose your camera. So you can choose the camera on the front of your phone like we're using right now, or you can use we're using the camera on the back of the phone actually. But you can choose between the camera on the front of the phone or the back of the phone. And Below that, you have your little microphone symbol, and that's basically to take you into the setup page from the Motiv audio app. So that's an easy way to get to your microphone settings for the MV88 from within the video app. Now under that, you have your big red record button, which is, if we press it, it's gonna go into record mode and it'll turn into a stop button. But right now I'm just recording the audio and the video using the built-in iPhone screen capture capability. Below that, we have your flash symbol, which is basically for your flashlight. So if you're not getting enough light in your shot, then you can set up your flash to get more light into the shot. Nice and simple. So the Motiv video app is cool. It's something that's cool to have, definitely. I know it has its, I guess, drawbacks. Like, one particular drawback I could think of is there was an instance where I made a recording using the Shure Motiv video app, and then I listened back to it and the audio was kind of glitching out a bit. I haven't had that experience with the audio app, so to me the audio app is more reliable. The video app is definitely something that's cool to have and to try out, and see if it works for you for whatever application you intend to use it for. But you don't have to use the video app to record video. You can use, like I said, I'm using the screen capture built in the iPhone, and you can also use your regular camera app, or whatever type of app you want to use to record and utilize the microphone. You can do that, because whatever settings you set in the Motiv audio app, they're going to retain in whatever recording software that you're using for your iPhone. But that's a little brief overview of the video app. Alright, so next I wanted to get into some usage examples, and another thing I'm demoing is, you see I took the windscreen off. The mic does come with that windscreen, and another thing I didn't mention is that it comes with this nice little case right here. Really cool little case that you can zip up and take on the go. Easy peasy. No problem with that. But again, back to some usage examples. What I personally use this microphone for is, a lot of times I'll use it for recording voice notes. If I'm writing a song basically and I want to remember how the song is supposed to be flowed, then I will make a voice recording. I used to do voice notes on my regular microphone, but this is so easy to connect to the phone and have better audio quality if that's something you're interested in, which I am. And it just makes my voice notes all the more better. Another example of what I use the microphone for is when I'm doing piano lessons. A lot of times when I'm learning a new song, as I'm doing my piano lessons, then I will end up taking my phone, recording a video, and I'll use the MV88 to, supplement the audio side of things. And that is, again, so that I have a decent little recording and it doesn't take that much effort at the end of the day. And that's what I like about the MV88. It's nice and simple. If you're on the go, on the move, if you want to do something simple, or maybe, you're a beginner and you record a lot with your phone, record a lot of videos with your phone, you're definitely going to want to step up the audio for that. So I think these are good usage cases, basically. One more thing that I do is, or that I did pretty much when I was doing like live events and stuff like that. And, when live events come back into the fold, if I'm setting up, my sound system and I'm doing my graphic EQ to ring out the room, I can do that with an app on my phone that I have. It's a Spectrum Analyzer, and I could use the microphone right on the phone, and, that can work well. But if I have the MV88, then why not use it to get a more accurate reading? If it's a more accurate microphone, then you get a more accurate reading for your frequencies, and it's easier to ring out the room, in my opinion. So, I have the MV88. It's a simple option. So I just whip it out, plug it up to the lightning connector, run my Spectrum Analyzer, and I'm good to go. Another thing we could talk about is, I guess, potential use cases. Potential use cases, as you can see, the phone, setup is mobile, and as you know, a lot of times the phone setup is mobile. So maybe you're looking to do like some field recording. You can do that. Record sound effects. You can mess with your stereo field as you would like to. If you want to record maybe like an ambience, or a car passing by or something of that nature, stereo field would be pretty nice in that example. It's, like I said, it's just something, easy if you're on the go and you're trying to record something in the field. It doesn't hurt to have the NV88 on you, and pretty much you can capture better than what you could capture with your phone audio, with your phone microphone. Once again, trying to think what else. Maybe if you're doing like a podcast, you want to be on the go, or you're vlogging, you want to be on the go. Again, these are nice options for using the Shure MV88. Again, to step up your microphone audio. That way, you're not always stuck with the iPhone microphone, which is again okay. But if you can step it up easily, then why not? But yeah, to sum it up, and we're back with the windscreen. As you can see, I think the Shure MV88 is a pretty good option for stepping up your microphone audio for your iOS device. I personally use it for a lot of run and gun situations, or something where I just want to, step up the audio quality for something simple. Again, if I'm doing a voice note, or if I'm doing, my piano lesson videos, I don't have to go too crazy with that. And again, if I'm out in the field, doing some graphic EQing. But other than that, I think it's again for people who might just be starting out. They're looking for a simple, affordable audio recording option. Step up their recordings. You can turn your phone into, a real deal field recorder. You have the audio app, you have the video app. And it's just a decent option to come out with some decent results. I used it for this whole review and, gave you guys an idea of what it sounds like. And at the end of the day, I hope you like it. I like it. I bought it because, I thought it was an attractive option, and I do use it on a decent basis. I don't personally use it for my heavy lifting, heavy productions in most cases. But again, if I didn't have the option, if I was just starting out, then I would definitely look at the MV88 for pretty much all my productions. But I think it's something that is good to start with, and then as your gear grows, you could pretty much jump into more expensive territory and kind of really step things up. But that's the Shure MV88 as told by me. At the end of the day, this is my opinion. This is not the only opinion, and I hope it helps out your workflow. More material to come. Y'all have a good one.
If you search high and low, I'm zoning. Look in my eyes, you can tell that I'm zoning. Flying solo in my zone.
96 until it's all over.